what's going on, everybody? This is Zach back with the Better Than I Deserve channel, and today I want to talk about values. So the reason I want to talk about that is because I believe that values are really one of the driving forces for why we make the decisions we make. And if I work with a lot of people in therapy that have kind of found their way off the path, right? They've kind of moved off the path of where they've wanted their lives. And one of the best ways to get back on the path is to kind of do some work and rediscover what your values are. Take a look at them, put them on paper, read them, right? Read the definitions, describe what they are to you. I think these are all very powerful ways to get your life back on track, right? So I kind of took some time and I looked at a values list on Google. You could literally type in values list, and I looked through about 100 different words and I picked my top 5, and I'm gonna talk about what each one of those are and why they're important to me. So first we're gonna talk about what is kind of the definition of value. Like, what do I mean? So the definition that I'm gonna use is a person's principles or standards of behavior. I kind of really like that. And then the second definition that I like is one's judgment of what is important in your life, right? Like, what do I feel is important in my everyday life? So this is the kind of definition we're gonna move from when we're talking about values. So the first value, and I don't think these are in any order. So let me just say that I don't have like a priority list. I tried to do that and I really couldn't figure it out. I kept arguing with myself, but these are my top 5 values. Number 1 is purpose. Okay, so my number 1 value, purpose. What do I mean by that? I mean that for me, when I look back at my life when I was really struggling, there was no purpose, no identified purpose. I mean, you could even go to say that being a drug addict, right, alcoholic, which I am, my purpose was to be a drug addict, right? Like, really, that was like my purpose. Before my eyes ever opened in the morning, what was I gonna get today? How much of it was I gonna get? How am I gonna use it? How am I gonna get more, right? Before my eyes even opened. So I guess I did have a purpose, but I needed a new purpose, right? So when I moved through really changing into this new life, right? I really feel like I've lived about 3 lives in the last, I'll be 37 in a month. In this last stage of my life over the last 10, 12 years, purpose has driven me to the levels that I'm at today. Usually I don't really set a goal unless it is somehow overlapped in my purpose. And my purpose is to wake up each day and be a better version of myself than the day before. It's very simple. The second part of my purpose is to be of maximum service to the people around me. Value number 2, service. Okay, so what do I mean by this, right? For me, when I say my value is service, it is really thinking about how I can be helpful to the people around me, right? For a lot of my life, I lived very self-centered. Selfish too, right? But just self-centered. Me. What didn't I get? Why didn't I get this? Why did this happen to me? Just very much, me, right? So today, I really try to think about others, right? And when I'm really having a problem in my life, the first thing I do is turn my attention to someone else. 99% of the time, my problem kind of ceases to exist. I know that sounds like some hocus pocus, but it's not. So service, being of service to my community, to the people that I love, to people that I don't know. How can I be helpful, right? That is a value that I live by. My third value, discipline. Now that one is one that I had to act like I had long before it was really a value, right? Like discipline, I am not a disciplined person. I lived a lot of my life very undisciplined. I think one of the greatest things that ever happened to me is that I was kind of pushed into the U.S. Coast Guard at 17 years old. And, you kind of learn things. I know that's not, like the armed forces, but I still had to do the same things that the other services did. And, today we live in an age where if I don't like my job, I can just quit. Right? Military don't work like that, right? If anybody's been in, if you want to break the rules, then they're like, okay there, fella, then we're going to take half your pay, we're going to restrict you to this ship for 60 days, and we're going to add in 3 hours of EMI, extra military instruction. So this just means you're working for less money, more hours, and you can't leave the ship. You do that 1 or 2 times, and you will create a little discipline in your life to not have that happen again, kind of out of consequence. Now, discipline today is something totally different. It is about me identifying what is helpful in my life and figuring out how to reoccur that day after day. So I have about a 15-minute ritual that I do every single morning, and that is a part of my discipline. Another part of discipline that I have in my life is I'm about to start back my PhD program. All the stuff gets released on Monday. By Wednesday, I'm done with all my work. Right? I am not waiting and procrastinating, because when I do that, it becomes a very habitual habit that I can't break. So I use this value of discipline to do the things that I don't want to do. And that's where discipline can really step up and make or break a goal that I have. Value number 4, I kind of clump these two together, is curiosity and ambition. Curiosity and ambition. So why did I do that, right? Well, curiosity to me is an important value, because if I want to continue to grow as a person, right, my first purpose is to be the best version of myself every day. Wake up tomorrow and just be a touch better than I was today, right? Well, how I do that is through curiosity, right? I have to be willing to fail at things to grow. Right? Growth doesn't happen when we are comfortable. Growth does not happen when we are comfortable. So let's say that together. Growth does not happen when we are comfortable. Growth happens when we are so uncomfortable we can't stand it another minute, and then we grow into it. Right? So curiosity allows that. So this whole endeavor right here, me sitting in front of a camera, me figuring out these topics, this is all out of curiosity. Maybe, will I be good at it? I don't know. Will I suck at it? Will people laugh at me? Will I waste all this money, out of my own pocket to do this for no reason, right? Curiosity, right? Now, what goes hand in hand with that is ambition. I have to be ambitious with myself and the things that I want to try, right? I can't half measure anything. If I'm going to do something, one of my values is I do it, right? I had a friend tell me the other day, they were actually on my podcast. They were my first guest, Mike, and he's the one that pushed me into trying this. Well, about 6 weeks into me saying, okay, I'm gonna do it, he came over to my house and he literally said, you do in a month what most people do in a year, right? Like, that's just how I work. That's one of my values. When I'm in, right? Like, I'm up late at night watching YouTube videos on how to do things, lighting, where's the cameras go, what's the best stuff to use. This is after working all day and being a very active, engaged father, right? It's like the after hours stuff. So that's an important value to me. Number 5, this is the biggest one. I'm not saying this is number 1, but this is the biggest one. This value is what allows me to have all the other stuff that I have in my life, and it's gratitude. A value of gratitude. A value of gratitude, right? So what this means, this does not mean thankful. This is not me saying I'm thankful for the things that I have. This is me saying I am aware of what I have. I am better than I ever deserve, and I better show some attention to the things I have and be grateful for them, or they will fly away. And I've seen it happen in a lot of my friends' lives, especially when it comes to recovery. If I'm not actively grateful for the beautiful people surrounding me in my life, they will leave, right? And I know that sounds a little drastic, but it's just my experience, you know? So what is an example of gratitude, right? So an example of gratitude is that I love my job, right? For any of y'all that know, I am a therapist. I'm primarily a group therapist. I'm a clinical director. I oversee 2 facilities. I'm one of the co-founders of both of those facilities. They're really me in a business. It's really cool, right? It's been, you know, a slow growth over a while. And so how I'm grateful is I show up to that facility even when I don't want to show up, and I'm in a good mood. Right? Like I treat my staff well. I ask them how they're doing. I learn about them, right? Like I'm engaged in my job, right? Okay, so another thing, I'm grateful for my mom. I love my mom. On my hand right here, mama's boy, right? I don't know if you can zoom in on that. Bam, mama's boy. I am a huge mama's boy. I love my mom, okay? So how do I show gratitude towards that? If she calls, I pick up. Even if I don't want to talk on the phone, if she calls me, I pick up the phone. If she FaceTimes me, I answer. If she texts me, I respond in an appropriate amount of time. If she doesn't text me, I text her, right? And I think as we grow up, this seems like, well, yeah, duh, bro. I'm gonna talk to my parents. Yo, as you grow up and you get busy and you get kids and you're in school, and it's really easy to start ignoring these people that are not in your life. It's easy for me anyways. That's the type of person I am. So gratitude is the all-encompassing. If I'm not grateful for it, I'll lose it. It'll slip through my hands like sand. So I don't know if this was helpful to anybody, right? What I would suggest is if you feel that you've walked a little bit off the path, pull up a values list, identify 5 values, and why? Why are these important to me? And then really the next step is this, right? How can I see those values in my life? Because just if you say you have values, but they're not in your life, you're living incongruent, right? And incongruent means you're not being your authentic self, right? So your authentic self is when you can identify your values and someone else can see those values in your life, and you can see those values in your life. I hope this was helpful. If you got any comments, throw them down. I love talking about it. I want to engage with whoever's watching these videos. If you liked it, hit a like. If you really liked it, subscribe. There'll be more videos. If you got anything specific you want me to talk about, throw that shit in there, man. Let's grow together, right? Like that's what I'm about. How can I be helpful to you? How can I be helpful to you? Let me know. Hope y'all have a wonderful day. It's better than I deserve, and we are gone.